Boy, oh boy. World created by Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. By the way, did you notice that most of the names of enemies in the game or characters start either at G, M, or R? Like, you know, George R.R. Martin. Gottfried, Godfrey, Godwin. Wait, in the end we never really had Godwin anymore. And then you have Radagon, Rani, Rykard, Radan, and then obviously M, which is like the most prevalent. Melina, Malenia, Millicent, Miriel, Marika. And there's a few more. Malekith. I wonder if they did that on purpose. There are very few names of important characters that start on a different letter. Like we have like Gideon, Roderica, Hugh, or Ho, whatever the blacksmith's name was. Rozier. But those are all like NPCs, right? Like the ally NPCs are all kind of unique, but all the like, I don't know, the demigods or everybody related to the demigods is like those 3 letters basically. For some reason. Oh yeah, Morgoth, Morget, another M. Mikaela. There's like shit ton of M's. Wait, so the Godfrey was like Hori Lu or whatever. So is he? So isn't Nefeli like a descendant of that guy? Probably. Good game. Good game. Need to think about where I would place it. Probably not together, because my favorite, I have 2 favorites. It's Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, kind of more or less at the same place, because I love both of them for different things. But I think this is still below that. Like, it's a fantastic open world game. Like, the open world is, I loved exploring it. Like, it was full of wonder. Like, especially the first 60 hours were amazing. Like, everything was new, everything was like, whoa, what is this? Whoa, wow. Like, I did that a lot. But as a Souls game, yeah, I had a few issues with it. Like, the open world kind of goes against a lot of the Souls games, a lot of the things I think that make Souls games great, where exploration is fun because it's tense, right? Like, it's not a vast world to explore, but because of how tense it is, like you know, you kind of enjoy every moment and every shortcut you find, every bonfire you find, and so on, because you're like, oh, finally I have a shortcut, right? And then you go on and explore more, and then you know there'll be a boss at the end of the level that you will have to get through to continue, right? And there's like very limited ways of farming and getting stronger. Unless you really, really want to farm, right? So I think that design like worked hand in hand, like, you know, semi-open, quasi-open world, like very tight, and design with a lot of tension, right? Together with the boss fights that you had to get through. But here you have this very relaxed, almost, right? Open world exploration that is every now and again interrupted, like suddenly, by a super tough boss, right? And you're like, whoa, it's like a super rude awakening. Because you're not used to it, because you're used to just running around and smashing easy bosses in catacombs, and then all of a sudden you have to face like a really powerful one, and it's just you're just switching to, you have to switch a completely different way of, I don't know, playing or something. Almost. So it does feel to me like it's a bit at odds, those two things. That's how I feel anyways. If you enjoyed it, if you know, think otherwise, that's perfectly fine, right? Like, that's how I feel about the game. Oh, but the absolute best thing about the game is characters and story. I think they nailed or like very close to nailing like the Souls storytelling, the Souls, you know, type storytelling, where we had just enough extra like, you know, direct, non-cryptic exposition from the characters, like Gideon just telling you things directly, right? While it's still not sounding like overly gamified like Sekiro did. Sekiro had kind of bad story, if you ask me, but and bad characters and dialogues, but here they did like I think like close to perfect job in kind of mixing, you know, like straight exposition and just telling you what you need to do with the Souls, you know, like mysteriousness and obscurity and stuff, where you have to figure things out yourself and piece the story together. Like, I still don't understand the story fully, right? And honestly, I'm not that deep into lore. Like, this game is the deepest I ever was. I ever was into lore, I think, of Souls games, where I really wanted to know, like, oh, okay, so what's happening, right? And I'm talking with my friend a lot about it, and I'm guessing we're gonna talk a lot, and I'm gonna ask him about many things because he is much more into lore than I am, and he's better at deciphering it too than I am, and piecing things together. But the characters, like, overall, great. Like, the great quests, especially running quests, is the highlight of the game. But Thea's quest was great too. The whole Volcanic Manor was interesting. Volcanic Manor felt like very traditional, almost like a very traditional quest line, like from like RPG quest line. What else? Millicent was very interesting too. Like leading to Malenia. Yeah, overall characters great. Like the best characters ever in all from games, if you ask me, and the best storyline overall. If you do not start over now, you can choose to begin journey to later at the Table of Lost Grace in Table Hold. No. So where are we? Are we put back before the ending? Can I go for another ending again? That'll be great. Oh, okay, that's great. So if I want, I can actually farm the endings. Great, okay. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Not a big deal. Alright. Oh no, I can't. Oh, god damn it. I thought I could farm the endings. Okay, so I'll still have to load my save that I made. I just wish I was thinking for a second that I actually made the save after beating Radagon. But I guess that boss fight is not the worst. I just have to figure out how to deal with that one ability of the second phase consistently, because I have no idea. Woohoo! Nice! Whoa! Yeah, that's a cool spell. What about the hammer? That is such a long wind-up, holy shit. Not very usable on bosses or maybe even in PvP, I don't know. Okay. Alright. Yeah. So overall, I think it's like a 9 out of 10 game. Like I loved it, but I don't know. Like on one end, I'm happy they did this, right? Because it's very mass market. Obviously, it's sold super well. Like many more people can play it. It's like the most it's the most accessible Souls games by far, because you can farm. You know, you are never really stuck on any boss. You can always go back and farm and get stronger, right? And the world building, the characters, and everything is great. Like I don't like how the continent looks like. I don't know. I hate this idea of, I don't know, landmass. Personally, like it's just too much water. I wish this was a part of like a bigger landmass or something. Not that this is the entire continent. That looks kind of weird. And the mountaintops felt, I don't know, a bit lacking. But overall, yeah, I'm happy they did that. At the same time, I was really missing this, you know, old school design of Dark Souls and Bloodborne. With, you know, like tense exploration and like I keep saying over and over again. And having to go from, you know, from a boss to a boss and not being able to farm this much. Excuse me. I was missing that. And I wish there were more like big dungeons like Stormveil. Like Stormveil is my favorite dungeon from this game. Like it's the first time in my favorite one. Because it is really reminiscent of, you know, like the old school Souls design. Like Ryokaria is very small. Like if you do, especially if you don't count all the secrets that you find there, like you can finish it very quickly. Like Volcanic Manor is also like half, you know, like it's very, like this whole area here, right? It's also very tiny and it's optional too. Really, like you don't have to do it to get the Rykard at all. Like it's all optional. You just go there to do Raya's quest, really. Excuse me. It's all optional there. So you don't have to go through it at all, right? And it's very small. I thought this was gonna be bigger, but it's very small too. And again, optional. Like the Halik tree is not that big. All things considered. Leyndell itself, yeah. It's kind of weird because it's a city. So you don't really feel that. Like acid dungeon thing. The depths, the subterranean shining grounds were cool. Although again, they weren't that big. At some point you just take elevator down and that's it, right? They were kind of confusing, but in the end they were not that big. Is there anything else? Yeah, that's it. Right? There wasn't much. Oh yeah, sorry, and this Faramazola. Just decent. That's good. There was like hit a boss there. But I wanted more, like more and bigger. Like when I heard that they are doing like open world Souls, what I thought it's going to be more like Shadow of the Colossus, where we have open world, but the whole point of the open world is to get us to the next huge dungeon, huge Souls-like location that we're gonna explore. And the benefit of the open world is that, you know, there can be more world building and we can choose where we go, but ultimately it's going to be mostly focused on, you know, this Souls exploration we know and love. But it was actually like more like Skyrim-like open world, right? And they were still the legacy dungeons, but they were fewer of them than I expected there would be, and they were smaller than I hoped they would be. Oh yeah, and we had Red Main Castle was also tiny, right? Wasn't really a dungeon. It's no bigger than like Fort. Red Main Castle was as big as the Castle Morn, basically. Maybe even smaller. Yeah, so like I said, I'm torn about this, right? Because I really like this game. It's 9 out of 10 for sure for me. But I wonder if I would have been more satisfied if it was more like older games, just bigger, because they had more budget and more time. Like if you gave me like Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 1, just, you know, a bit longer, like, I don't know, 60 hours or like 80 hours or something. Maybe 60 would be enough, because normally it's like 40 hours, right? For a Souls game, it's like 60, 70 hours. I don't know, maybe I would have been happier? I don't know. Still very good, like I said. For all those other things, the world, the characters, the NPCs, like the boss design, like I said, it was very hit and miss for me. Like you had these super cool bosses every now and again, and in between you have this, you know, generic copy-paste of million ulcerated spirits and Earth Tree guardians, Black Knife assassins, watchdogs, and stuff. There's a bit too many of those. And again, why this kind of design feels at odds to me is once you get to those cool bosses, the main ones, if you were playing like me, where you really wanted to explore everything because it was fun to do it, not because I wanted to get overpowered or whatever, right? Once you got to those bosses, you were overpowered and you smashed through them quite quickly, right? Like I one-shotted the Godfrey the first time we fought Godfrey. Like Morgoth wasn't really too much of a trouble either because I was so overpowered. Like kind of same with Renala, kind of same with Godric almost, right? Like there were only few bosses I really struggled with. Malenia, for obvious reasons, because she's insane. Maliketh was hard. I guess no matter the level, like I really struggled with the second phase. Radahn, yeah, Radahn is hard too. But I think I was doing Radahn slightly under-leveled actually. Then you could be doing him. Because I was doing him like at 60 or 70 or something. Radagon, yeah, Radagon was tough for me. Although still didn't take that long. And Godfrey, yeah, Godfrey was the real Godfrey was a bit annoying too. Especially the second phase. But that's it. Only those, if I remember correctly, right? The rest was kind of whatever. Not too hard. I guess maybe this weapon was just making it easier, like this thing. I wanted to do a second playthrough with something else, just to see whether I was carried hard by this. I probably was, to be honest. Maybe I would feel different if I had like a less OP weapon and stuff. But to be fair, it's not like I played any other Souls games when gimping myself. Like I also use fairly strong weapons and stuff. But you get my point, right? Like the open world design is... This game falls into the same open world design like any other open world game, where they want to make a critical path in a way that you can do it quickly, right? So you don't have to spend that 150 hours playing the game if you don't want to, which means that the bosses on the critical path need to be scaled to a lower level. So if you do all this exploration on the side, you'll be overpowered and you will smash through those bosses. For the most part, anyways. So that's why, yeah, that's why I think it's a 9 out of 10 overall. I think they'll need to do some design tweaks or something. I don't know, like I'm not a designer, right? To put it for me personally to 10 out of 10. Like I don't know, maybe just put more money into boss design, right? And just make more unique bosses. Or make the world a tad bit smaller, right? Like make it a bit more tight rather than go for size necessarily. I don't know. So I think it's gonna sit at 9 out of 10, right below Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne for me. I think that's how I feel about the game currently. All the things considered. Alright. Well, it was a great run anyways. Like I said, longest first playthrough ever in any game I played. 145 hours. My god. That is insane amount of time. This is almost like my time spent in Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2 combined, and I finished both of those games twice. Which is insane. It's like 4 Souls games in one, basically. In terms of pure length, at the very least. Oh, and also, I also kind of was nitpicking, I guess, that I couldn't find a good-looking armor set I would be fully happy with. Like, I'm not fully happy with this. Or weapon I would be super happy with somehow in this huge game. So, that is also interesting. But yeah, loved it. Loved the game. And man, and doing this playthrough as well was a challenge. Jesus. Like, 145 hours of recordings, uploading all that. That is insane. It was a good practice, that's for sure. In doing like making a lot of videos, a lot of uploads, and very long recordings and playthroughs and stuff. Alright, well, if you stuck with me through all those videos, thank you for watching, I guess. Hope you enjoyed at least a little bit of my very amateur let's play of a Souls game. And yeah, this is Ben. I enjoyed Elden Ring. See ya.